So Brett, thank you for coming to Oklahoma for our event we had
Thanks
here
for
today. We're really excited. We don't usually get people as famous as you in our state, so we're really
Yeah, right.
excited. But no, we really are excited, and to me, it's so valuable to have an executive director with such great experience to come in and talk about these issues, because I can talk about them all day long, but I bring someone in who's been at such a high level working on it. People tend to listen a little bit easier. So we're really happy that you came. And what are your thoughts? You know, you work federal, all these other states. So what are your thoughts on kind of like the climate in Oklahoma and what's happening, what we could do better, or what you're hopeful for?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I truly love just the opportunity to spend time with you and the people here. There's a difference in Oklahoma than a lot of states. Not any state is doing everything perfectly, right? And there's so many things we need to fix. But I'm really encouraged that you have, at really high levels, individuals who really care. And that's unique. And I've learned while I've been here that recidivism rate is one of the lowest, if not the lowest, in the country. Those are all the objectives that we're trying to achieve in all the other states, is to have people that care at high levels and to be dropping our recidivism rate. So whatever is causing all of that, there's some good, some bad, but I think it's important because it says in Oklahoma, the atmosphere is we're really still trying to find solutions. And if you have that, you actually have a hope for changing the system in a positive way. Because there are states right now, and we can name them, they have no interest in it. They have one formula for crime, and that's all they're doing.
Yeah. So would you say, are we better than Texas at what we're doing? Because it's really important to us that we beat Texas in everything. So
I think Oklahoma is leading the way. Your recidivism rate is lower, and I think you don't seem to have as many obstacles when you have good policy getting it to the governor. And the governor is very willing and passionate about it. So in that regard, I think you're crushing Texas.
Yeah. I think in both states, we're really, really fortunate with our governors that we have.
Very good governors.
I do hear a lot when I go to Texas that we are so lucky to have Governor Stitt here in Oklahoma in regards to our issues, and I agree with them.
Yep.
So that's really fun. So within the conservative population or the conservative arena, a lot of conservatives think that we need to be tougher on crime. We need to increase our sentence lengths, and we need to add more crimes to our list of felonies. And their thought process is if we do this, we'll suddenly just be much safer. Crime will go down and no one will be afraid to walk down the street. Can you talk about how or why that reasoning is a little bit flawed?
Yeah, I think it's more than just flawed. It's actually in denial. And I would say it's the same mentality as probably 75 years ago. Take the 1950s and what we thought about crime in the 1950s, and that was build more prisons. And we got to be harder on criminals. They need to know that they shouldn't be doing this. And so we started locking up from 1950 to early 2000s as many people as we could. And we started lengthening out sentences. And that mentality has us now with over incarceration and ballooning costs that are not sustainable, and then at the same time recidivism rates and crime rates have gone up. So it's not just that recidivism has gone up that is the factor that is very telling about our flawed mentality on this. This is what happens, Marilyn. If you take someone who is nonviolent and you put them in prison and you lengthen out their prison sentence, right now the data is telling us that not only are you causing problems in that individual because you're lengthening the sentence, and the longer it is on a nonviolent individual, the longer that sentence is, their risk of getting out and committing crimes goes up, not down.
Yeah.
So you ruin that individual, but also the family around them is affected for a longer period of time. That translates into additional individuals in that family that start to commit crime. So now you've by lengthening out that sentence, you've actually created more criminals and created better criminals.
Yeah.
And that's what...
And created victims with their family members.
That's right.
That eventually become
And you create more
criminals.
victims,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden we have a whole community that's being impacted by the criminal justice system. Whereas if we learned what is the right length of sentence, what is the type of supervision, what are the things that they should be doing while they're incarcerated, if we'll do those things in a thoughtful manner attached to what the data says works,
Yeah.
then we start to shrink the imprint or footprint of the criminal justice system.
Yeah. I want to talk about one of the misconceptions that people on the outside have about groups like ours that advocate for criminal justice, a better criminal justice system. And I wanted to get to this morning. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. But they think that we are anti-victims and that all we care about is the criminal. And we don't care about the victims and how it affects them, which is opposite of the truth. So can you talk about your personal experience with having a family member who was a victim, and also how that makes it, you put a better emphasis or makes it more important to you that we actually get it right?
Yeah, there are organizations, no question, there are organizations who don't seem to care about victims.
Yeah.
They don't want to acknowledge, in fact, they seem to think that the perpetrators are the victims.
Yeah.
And those organizations are losing credibility, and they're also causing problems because they're causing lawmakers to want to go the opposite.
Yeah.
So our organization is one that's built on a foundation of, we don't want to forget about the victims. We want them to be at the forefront of our mind when we establish policy, because the ultimate goal of all of this is to reduce the number of victims. Mm-hmm. So in my family, I had 4 older sisters, 3 of whom were raped.
How many times did they lock you in a closet?
Right.
Or,
Well, I had
terrorize you? Or
I had 5 moms for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But we got to experience, unfortunately, real crime and the impact of it. And, 3 out of the 4 sisters were raped. 1 sister was kidnapped and raped. And it caused our family to see the world differently and to react differently. And we wanted to protect victims of crime, especially victims of violent crime. Mm-hmm. And it was very telling, though, because my sister that was in college and she was kidnapped, and, fast forward many, many years, she's very passionate about wanting to reduce crime. She doesn't want there to be more victims. But she's super smart, and she knows that you could lock away one person for a long time, and that one person might not, commit more crime. Mm-hmm. But are you doing the things that needs to lower crime overall in your community? And in a lot of communities, we're not. And so our focus is to implement a policy that will reduce crime and recidivism, while at the same time lifting up victims and remembering what they go through.
Yeah. So what is it that keeps you up at night, and what gets you out of bed in the morning?
What keeps me up is the feeling that the problems are too large, mm-hmm. and there's not enough soldiers to fix them. And sometimes it feels overwhelming, because you're talking every state has something that's broken in their criminal justice system, and the federal system has many things broken. And what keeps me up is thinking, why are conservatives holding back on actually finding the solutions? Yeah. Why are we so inclined to take the easiest path? And what gets me up is, if I'm not there, that's one less person that's going to be trying to make, meaningful change. So hopefully I can get, more and more. And right on crime, we're in 14 states, and we have, the national side of what we're doing, and we're about to go into our 15th state. But we should be in all 50 states, making major impact and fixing these systems. And once we do, I'll probably sleep a lot easier.
Well, thank you. We always love it when you come to Oklahoma.
I love being in Oklahoma.
You fit in pretty well down here,
I do.
So you're pretty good. So please, everyone's like, you got to bring him back. We just got to get better flights. That's all. But thank you, and thank you for chatting.
Thank you, Marilyn.